guys, welcome back to another video. Yes, and today we are opening and I'm going to look at my first ever Inky Prints slipcover. Yes, if you didn't know, Inky Prints, Inky Customs, I think they're called. They basically do multiple different prints of slipcovers on a website, or you can order via eBay. They do multiple, you can order wherever. They've got a lot of designs and, they basically make slipcovers for movies that don't exist. I've kind of got a bit of a stance on slipcovers recently. And as I say, this is my first ever Inky Prints one. So let's just talk about my stance first. So I did a video recently about slipcovers in general and my thoughts with them. I was getting really annoyed with slipcovers, and the video is there if you're interested on the channel. Basically, do I get rid and sell my slipcovers was the thought, or do I have a bit of a mixed bag of slips, as you can see. In general, I'll have made a decision of how I want to actually approach slipcovers in my collection. So if I take a massive set here of movies, all the same type of collection, obviously Godzilla, King of Monsters, Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong, and then Godzilla X Kong. All of which, as you can see, have slipcovers, came with slipcovers, and I have them all. And I've made a decision now to get slipcovers based on, of course, the franchise. So this is a franchise that has a ton of slipcovers, obviously. Whereas then, if I take a look at something else, for instance, I don't know, let's just take a look at, say, this one, Infinite. This one doesn't come with a slipcover. And basically, if there ever was an Infinite 2 and it just came out without a slipcover, the first one didn't have one. So why should I bother? Or I don't have one with the first one. Why should I bother then, of course, getting a slipcover for the second one? So that franchise then wouldn't have one. Well, one franchise that I did have, that I have got slipcovers, is this one. So Ghostbusters is a franchise that I got all the slipcovers for, which are all very, very rare slipcovers in my opinion. Well, they're very, very rare. But for the distribution maybe of this disc or the production company, they basically changed from Sony, as you can see here, to Elevation. Now, Elevation Pictures is a studio that doesn't do slipcovers, basically. And so you can see when all the Sony ones there, boom, as you can see, were released. And then for Frozen Empire, the newest movie, it doesn't have a slipcover. So I have sourced Inky Prints then, of course, to make me a slipcover for that. And that is what I have done. So that is it here as it comes out. I will say the colours are very oversaturated in comparison. Look at that. Must be to do the printer, but yeah. So this is about £9, and yeah, you pay £9 for a bit of plastic. Yeah. Or cardboard rather. This is my first Inky Prints slip. So if we just realign this. So as I say, basically wanting to just get slipcovers for areas in my collection that I don't have one, and if I'm missing one in a particular franchise. This franchise being Ghostbusters. So here it is. Here is the actual card. You can see there kind of wraps around, and they've kind of got a bit of a flap there which sticks alongside, and I think that's how other companies do their slipcovers, to be honest, is on the side. So yeah, you can see on this one they've got it down there as a flap there, and other companies do them differently, I guess, in terms of studios, of course, but this must be the way that Inky Prints have decided to do it. I will say it's not exactly straight, but the card is quite sturdy. My initial impressions is the color is just very off in comparison to that. And that's what makes this great, because this is very blue, which is very watery, whereas this is frozen like ice. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just very different, very oversaturated in the print. But I will say, very good condition. Printing, no very high resolution images used, of course you'd expect that, and the spine looks pretty good as well. So that is the front of this slipcover, which is pretty nice. There is the spine, which very much just is a carbon copy of what we had on the standard Amaray there, and just redesigned and made a bit bigger. The other spine is exactly the same, so it's just a carbon copy of that. And then the back, then we have then a few bits of text and information. And then there's all the tech specs there down the bottom, which again is just a carbon copy and a blown up version of this, as you can see. So that's kind of how they do it then. They basically just copy whatever the artwork is on the actual film and just put it in there. So we put this in here. It fits a standard 14mm case, I think, just a standard thicker case. And there it is then, my Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which now, if I align this up to here, so we've got the Ghostbusters 1, 2, and then the female led one. Afterlife, and then now, of course, Frozen Empire. They all line up pretty good, of course. It's got that different elevation up the top as well, rather than the Sony logo, because obviously, you know, the distribution, I guess, has changed, or the studio has changed from that point of view. But yeah, that is now my Ghostbusters franchise. So that's what I'm going to do. If there's ever a movie that comes out that doesn't have a slipcover released, obviously an official one, then I'm going to import one. I'm going to get one made, aka like I've done this one, so that the franchise stays completed, and then on the shelf it looks pretty good there, as you can see. So for instance, now Indiana Jones is one that I have, for instance. So if, for instance, we get another Indiana Jones now, which we probably won't, and they don't do a slipcover, then I get a new one, you know, made up. So that's how I'm going to approach slipcovers going forwards. My first impressions with that Inky Prince one then is, yeah, it's probably a bit oversaturated in terms of its imagery and the colours that it was used versus, you know, that one, as I say. But I will say it is a matte finish all over, and it's a very high quality card that they use. And also the actual resolution is still very, very good. As you can see there, it still retains a lot of the detail. I just maybe wish they did a bit more colour matching, probably in line with obviously the original artwork there, as you can see the differences. So that's my first impressions, and definitely will order more because, like I say, I care more about how it looks on the shelf with the spine there all lining up perfectly. So yeah, if there's any other franchises that come out, of course, now I'm going to go for my collection. The first one that jumps to mind is Gladiator. There is a original slip for this one, but I don't have it, and of course got Gladiator 2. So I might look at getting one of these sourced and try maybe do one a month or something, or one every couple of weeks, and start to get the collection in a bit more order and whatnot. So that's how I'm going to approach it. Let me know, guys, do you approach slipcovers in a different way? I know some people totally get rid of slipcovers, but that's how I'm going to approach it now. And if I pick up a movie in CEX or something that doesn't have a slipcover, then that makes my decision for the entire franchise basically not to have that slip. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Of course, please do subscribe if you are new here on the channel. Thanks for watching, as I say, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.